Everyone, and welcome to our instruction session today. My name is Ahmed. I'm the instruction coordinator librarian based at the Menifee Valley campus. And today we're going to be first going over how to access and navigate OneSearch, which is the primary search engine we use here at the library. Next, we're going to be going into EBSCO, the database platform. After, we'll learn how to extract keywords from your research topic or your research query. Later, we'll go over scholarly sources and why we should choose scholarly sources over popular news articles. And last, we'll go over the databases. Now, let's get straight into it. What is OneSearch? OneSearch, as I mentioned before, is the primary search engine we use here at the library. And to get access to OneSearch, you would go to the library's homepage. And to go to the library's homepage, you would simply type in msjc.edu/library into your URL bar, press enter, and you'll be redirected to our library's homepage. And on our library's homepage, right at the center of the website is OneSearch. This is where you would do your simple search, so you could just directly type in your research topic, research question into the simple search bar. Press enter and you will get your results. You also have the option to do an advanced search. To do an advanced search, you would simply move your cursor into the field box, press into it, and then press the enter button. And then to the right of the field box is the advanced search button. And if you press that, you'll get the advanced search feature. And in the advanced search feature, you could put in multiple keywords from your research topic into each of these field boxes. And to get additional field boxes, you would just press this plus button right over here, add a new line, and that would add an additional field box. And you could add as many as you want, and then you could press the clear button to just go back to 2. Let's do a search. Let's search social media. Let's say that our research topic is social media. So I'm doing the search for social media, and you can see as soon as I do my search, I have this bar of suggested databases right over here. So what OneSearch is saying is, based on your research topic, these are the databases that you could go for more information, because they include information on your research topic. So I just did my search, and as you can see, I'm pulling in over 1 million results. And those 1 million results come in a wide variety of different formats. We have articles, we have newspaper articles, we have journals, we have newspapers, conference proceedings. So it comes in a wide variety of different information. And obviously, we don't want to go over 1 million results. So to reduce the number of results that we have to get more relevant results, we could use the left panel to further reduce the number of results we have. Another little trick that we could do is to go back to our advanced search by just clicking the search criteria drop-down menu. That would display our search again, and then putting our search terms in quotation marks. So when we put the search terms in quotation mark, what that's telling OneSearch is that we want these two words together. We don't want social in the beginning of the article and then media at the end. We want social media together. So let's go ahead and do that search and see what happens. So you could see from 1 million results, I'm getting just under 150,000 results. It eliminated 900,000 results just by saying that we want those two words together. Now let's say that my professor wants me to only have scholarly articles. Now, to get scholarly articles, I would simply click the articles button on the left panel. And then under availability, under the subheading availability, I would go to show more and then click peer-reviewed journals. So when I click peer-reviewed journals, you can see I went from under 150,000 to now under 25,000 results. Let's say that my professor also wants that article to be written within the past 20 years. So we could go ahead and also add that under the date published heading, and then just click refine. And then you could see I'm getting the most relevant results that are available to me. Now I'm going down the results page and I'm seeing relevant articles that I want to look at. So if I see lots of relevant articles in my search results page, I could just go ahead and click the pin icon, and that will add it to my favorites folder. Let's say I want this one, and I'm looking through it and I like a lot of these. So let's say that I want to select multiple. I could just click the checkbox and then click the pin tab on the top bar. Or if I'm looking through it and I see, okay, the whole page is good to me, I could just go ahead and select everything and then click the pin icon. Now, to go to your favorites folder, if you scroll all the way to the top of the web page and click the pin icon right near the sign in button, you'll be redirected to all of your pinned documents. And you can see these are all the documents that I've selected. And I could just go through and see which ones that I want and just keep them. Just keep in mind though, if you are using the pin feature, you don't have to be signed in. So you can notice that I'm not signed into my account. However, it's still allowing me to use the pin feature. So what I need to do is make sure that I'm saving the links for these articles or I'm emailing them to myself. So once you do have an article that you want to look at, you could just click the title of the article. And when you click the title of the article, it's going to pull up the record page. And this is what the record page looks like. And right from the record page, you could get that citation for the article. You could email it to yourself. So what this is going to do is that it's going to email the record page to me. It's not going to email the article as a PDF to me. It's just going to send the link for the record page. I could also get the permalink, which is this link just shortened. And then this print feature, I would strongly recommend not using this because it's not going to print the article. It's going to print the record page, which you probably don't need. So to get access to the article, you would just go under View Online to full text availability, and then just click either one of these. So usually for most of the articles, you will have it available in multiple databases. So it doesn't matter which one I go to, I should still have access to it, the same article. This is beneficial because if you're looking at an article, like let's say I go to this article, and it doesn't pull it up, I could go to the second database and it would also pull up the article. So let's go ahead and get the article. So now, right now what's happening is that it's redirecting me to the database platform, which is a different website than the library's website. But this is how I'm going to get access to the article. And it's going to pull up the article in the PDF viewer. You could see like it's still loading right now. Okay, there it is. And I have access to the article right here. I could read it in the PDF viewer on the database platform, or I could just use this right panel right over here to get similar options to OneSearch, but these are even better. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if I press the print icon, it's going to print the actual document. And I can do that from here too, as you probably already know. I could email it to myself by pressing the mail icon. And what this is going to do is that it's actually going to email it as a PDF attachment. So this is actually going to send the article to me so I could just have it available to me wherever I am, as long as I have my email. And it also will send you a citation. You just need to make sure that you're sending the right citation. So right now the default is MLA, and for most English classes that I've worked with, we use MLA. So we're good with that. And then we have the option to get the permalink by just clicking this button right over here, and that's basically this link just shortened. So that's how you pull up an article from OneSearch. Now, let's talk about the differences between OneSearch and the database, because I know it is kind of confusing, but I've went ahead and I've made this chart to explain the differences between OneSearch and the database. And let me actually show you how to get to the databases first. So if I go back to the library's homepage, you can see, like I mentioned before, this is OneSearch. And to go to the specific databases, I would go right under the heading Quick Links to all databases A to Z. And you could see we have 95 databases, and this is an alphabetical list of all of our databases, and it basically talks about the different subjects the database covers and the different types of information the database has, and that information is located in the text under the URL link. And so these are all the databases that we have. Now let's go back to my chart. So whenever we're using the databases or OneSearch, our goal is to get information, and that information is indexed in the database. And the database, as I mentioned before, is subject specific. It has specific types of information in different formats. So, for example, there may be one database that says that, okay, we only want to have videos in our database. And those databases have millions and millions of records. Now, that database is hosted on a database platform, and that's usually the way most databases are. And you could kind of think of the database platform as the owner of the database. And they're not just going to own one database, they want to own multiple databases crossing multiple subject areas. Now that's where OneSearch comes in. So as you've seen on the database page, we have almost 100 databases, and you obviously don't want to go through all those 100 databases. It would be much easier just to do one search for all of the databases, and that's where OneSearch comes in the picture. So OneSearch searches all of those 95 databases, and it pulls information for all of those based on one search. However, the reason why we learn about OneSearch and the database is because OneSearch is only including some of the records in the database. It's not giving you everything. And because it's not giving you everything, we need to make sure that we're using both OneSearch and the databases if we need it. Let me give you an example. So this is an article that we have. You could see that we're getting access through MSJC. And what that basically means is that because we're associate faculty and students, that we have access to this article. The school is paying for us to have access to the article. And you can see this is a nice article that we have. It's written in simple language. The paragraphs are short. This is definitely an article that I would want to use. And you can see it's on the database Issues and Controversies, on the database platform Infobase. And we could take the article title. We could go back to OneSearch on the library's homepage. We could type the title of the article into OneSearch. And we could even say this is the title of the article. And then you can see there's no record found. So OneSearch is not going to display the article. But if we go back to the article, we can see like our school is paying for it. We have access to this article, but it's not in OneSearch because OneSearch doesn't include all the information in the database. It only includes some information in the database. So because of that, we want to make sure that when we're doing our research, we start off doing our research on OneSearch to get a broad view of what our subtopics could be. Once we have the subtopics, we could go to the specific database platform that offers in-depth information about my topic. So let's say I was doing social media, and then I do the search on OneSearch to search all 95 databases. And then I find out that I want to focus on the way that children use social media. So because of that, I would go to the child development database to get more in-depth information specifically related to the use of social media among children. Now let's talk about scholarly resources and why it's preferred to use scholarly resources over uh, popular news articles. So whenever we get a scholarly resource or a textbook, it follows the information cycle. And usually with the information cycle, the lower you get on the information cycle, the more credible that information is. So first, an event has to occur. So let's say, for example, Apple is slowing down the iPhones. On the day of the event, you're obviously going to have just a lot of speculation. You're going to have memes, and it's just going to be a lot of conspiracy theories about it. And you're going to have news articles like CNN that are going to put out the story, and they're just going to be doing it just so that you could click it and to see what the story is, and that's allegedly. But they're not saying for sure that Apple is slowing down the iPhones. And in this stage, obviously, you're going to have those diehard Apple fans who are going to be like, no, like Apple will never do something like this. And, there's just a lot of denial, a lot of jokes, and just a lot of speculation. Now, let's say that a week passes, and in this time, you have, like, let's say a representative from Apple that's coming out and saying, oh, Apple is slowing down the iPhone. So now it's getting attention from newspapers like the New York Times, LA Times. They're not saying for sure that it's happening, but what they are saying is, here's the claims, here's the evidence. You, as the reader, make the decision on what you want to believe. Now, let's say that weeks after, there's more evidence coming out. There's more testimonies coming from former employees saying that Apple is slowing down the iPhones. Now you have popular magazines like Wired coming in and saying that, okay, you know what? There's a lot more evidence here. Let's publish the story. But they're still not saying that for sure it's happening. What they are saying is, here's the evidence, here's the claims. You, as the reader, make the decision. Now, let's say months and months later, now in this time, you have Apple actually coming out and saying, okay, like we slowed down the iPhones, but it was for this reason. And now you have the court cases, and, everything at this point, a lot of information is out to suggest that they did slow down the iPhones. Now, in this stage, let's say that you have a psychologist. A psychologist is saying, okay, you know what? I want to go back to this stage of the information cycle. And I want to know why, at the beginning, when the story first came out, why there were so many people that were in denial that this is actually happening. Let's study the relationship between a company and a person. So let's say that he does a study to find that out. The fact that he's doing the study himself and collecting the data himself is what makes it empirical, right? So he does the study, writes an article about the data that he collected. And then once he writes the article, what he's going to do is he's going to send it to other psychologists, other leaders in the field, other scholars to look over his work, make edits. And that process of editing is what makes it peer reviewed. Now that it's peer reviewed, let's say that he publishes it now in an academic or academic journal about psychology, and it's out for everyone. Now that it's out, let's say that years and years later, you have these big textbook companies like Cengage coming out, and they're writing a psychology textbook, and they need evidence to support the narrative that they're painting in their textbooks. So what they're going to do is they're going to go back to the scholarly articles. They're going to pull the data from their scholarly articles, pay them the fee, and then put that in their textbook. And once that textbook is done, it's going to be published, and they're going to sell it to you as the students for whatever price they want to do. And what we're doing when we're using OneSearch, when we're using the databases, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get that academic journal articles so that when we are making our claims, we're going to say something like, okay, this is what I claim, this is what I believe, and look, it's backed by scholars in the field. And this scholar has done his own research, and it's been peer reviewed by other scholars in the field as well. So it makes what you say 10 times stronger. Now let's talk about keyword searching. What's keyword searching? Keyword searching is any words you could think of that best describe your topic. We use it to either increase or decrease our search results. And the primary goal is to identify the main concepts of your research question. So once we have it, where do we input it? Well, if you go back to OneSearch, and let's say that we're going to the advanced search feature, you would input your keywords in each one of these field boxes. And as I mentioned before, you would use the plus icon to add more keywords, and then the clear just to go back to the 2. So, for example, let's say that my research topic is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. The keywords that I'm going to be extracting from this topic is health insurance, privacy, patients. So let me show you what that looks like in OneSearch. So I would let's say that I'm doing the search just by itself, just HIPAA. I'm getting 9,000 results. But when I do it with my keywords, so let's get those keywords. I have health insurance, privacy, and patients. So I went from 9,000 results to 881 results. And when I go through the left panel and go to the specific types of materials I want, I'm going to be pulling in a really good amount of results that I could easily go through and know that it's relevant to my research topic. Now, so we could pull more keywords from the thesaurus, and the best thesaurus to use is the thesaurus provided by the database platform. What the database platform is going to do is that they're going to go through all the articles that they have, and they're going to pull out the jargon that the scholars are using, and then they're going to build a thesaurus based on that jargon. And that is the best thesaurus to use when you're trying to pull keywords for your research topic. However, we can also just go to thesaurus.com. It's not as good as the database platform, but if we're just doing like a simple search, it's okay to use it. So let's say that I'm writing my research paper on students. And so a synonym for students is learner. And let's say that, okay, now let's say that I'm a scholar and I'm writing a scholarly article in the field of education. And in my article about students, I want to use the word learner instead of students. And I would be rightful in doing that. However, when that article is actually published and you're looking for that article, you as the student wouldn't be able to pull it up if you're using the word student and not learner. So that's why when we're doing our search, we want to make sure that we're using the word student and learner. Now let's talk about Boolean operators. So we use our Boolean operators in conjunction with our keywords. So if we go back to the advanced search option, you could see that the Boolean operators are located on the far left of the field box. So once we enter our keywords in here, we have the option to add those Boolean operators. And it's a drop-down menu. The three Boolean operators, also known as term connectors, are and, or, and not. When we're saying that we want to use the and feature, we're saying that we want to use this keyword and this keyword. You could use it to expand or decrease your search results, or is always used to increase your search results. So when I'm telling OneSearch is I want to use this keyword or this keywords. The next one is not. We use not to decrease our search results. And a common way to use it is, let's say that I'm doing my search and I'm looking through the search results page and I see that, okay, there's a lot of information about Title V of HIPAA, and I don't want that information, so I would use the term connector not to exclude Title V, and therefore reducing the amount of results that I retrieve. So in this example, I'm using my same topic of HIPAA. I have HIPAA, and then I know that with laws, we obviously have those acronyms, so we don't have to say out the whole thing, but we don't want to exclude documents that don't use the acronyms. So I'm going to use the or Boolean operator to include the act written out. So HIPAA or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And I would use the Boolean operator and to include my second research question, my research topic, which is electronic health records. And I would use and to include HIPAA and electronic health records. And as I mentioned before, let's say that I want to exclude information about Title V, because that's the type of the part of HIPAA that I don't want. So I would use the term connector not to exclude information about Title V. In this example, I'm searching Native Americans, but I do know that Native Americans are also known as American Indians, and there's a historical context to that. So I would use the term connector or to include Native Americans or American Indians. And then I would use the term connector and to include my second research topic, which is nature spirits. And then I know that because, we have the word Indian, it might be confused with South Asian Indian. So to exclude this type of Indian, I would use the term connector not. In summary, we use and to retrieve results that contain both words or phrases in our research topic. We use or to retrieve results that contain either or both words or phrases. We use not to retrieve results that do not contain certain words or phrases in our research topic or a research question. Now let's do a little activity. So this is my research topic that my professor gave me. Can yoga be utilized to reduce stress and combat obesity among teens? So what I want you to do is to extract all of the keywords that you think are in this research topic. And you could pause the video, but I'm going to get straight into it. So let's first go to the big words in the research question. Obviously, we have yoga. We have stress. We have obesity. And we have teens, but we would just put in us teens because we don't want to exclude words that don't have the S. So now that we've extracted the big words from the research question, we could go into specifically finding those synonyms for those keywords. Now with teens, so what's another word for teens? Well, there are also children. Obesity, there's a lot of different words for obesity. We could put overweight, perhaps we might be able to put in tweens. We could put in child. And I think this is a good amount of keywords. Now that I have these keywords, I can implement them into OneSearch to get those relevant articles. Okay, so we talked about OneSearch and how to use the advanced search feature to retrieve relevant results. And now I want to go over the database. The first database I want to go over is called CQ Researcher. And to access CQ Researcher, on the library's homepage, as I mentioned before, we would go right under the heading Quick Links to all databases A to Z. If you click that, of course, as I mentioned before, you would get that alphabetical list, and then you would just click C for CQ Researcher, scroll down to CQ Researcher Hot Topics, go ahead and click that, and you'll be redirected to CQ Researcher, which is, like I mentioned before, it's different than the library's website. And this is what the website looks like. I'm going to have, obviously, the hottest topic over here, and then I'm going to have other hot topics on the left panel, like abortion rights, death penalty. And what we use CQ Researcher for is, if we're doing an argument essay or we're having some type of controversial topic where you're going to have a side for it and a side against it. Now, let's say that I'm doing my search on social media, because we know that social media can also be a controversial topic. Go ahead and do that search. And then we could see that we're getting a wide variety of different types of information. We can see here social media platforms and a bunch of other similar topics that include social media. But let's say that we're just doing this one. So once I click that, I'm going to get the full report on social media platforms. And what CQ Researcher does is that they're going to pose a question, and then the report is going to be based on that question. And this is the full report, but you could use the left panel of these 13, I believe it's 13 different sections of the report to go to specific places within the report. Now, the introduction, overview, background, that's all going to be mostly the history of the topic. If you go to the current situation, that's what's happening right now. Outlook is what's going to be happening in the future. The pro-con section is my favorite section because in this section, what they do is that they're pulling a leader in the field and then another leader in the field, and they're pinning them against each other. So he's going to be talking about the positive of social media, and then he's going to be talking about the negatives of social media. And what we have as the reader is the option to choose which side we want to be on, or just be somewhere in the middle. The chronology section, this is going to be a timeline of the topic. The short features and maps, that's just going to be media about it. And this is super cool if you're doing like a PowerPoint presentation and you want to include a diagram or a graph about the data. You could take this and then just cite the source. The bibliography section, this is them citing their sources. The next step is, okay, you've read the whole report. Now this is where you go to get more information. Now, to download the article, obviously you would just press the view as a PDF version. And if you do that, it's just going to go ahead and download the article to your computer. You have the option to get that citation by clicking the Cite Now button, but just keep in mind though, the default citation for CQ Researcher is APA. So if my professor wants MLA, I just need to go ahead and change that to MLA. I have the option to print it by just clicking this button. It would let me choose which section I want to print. I mean, I obviously could just do the full report. I have the option to email it to myself, and I believe that it does have the option to send the PDF to you. You just need to put full report or the specific section that you want, and then your email, and it would email you the article. You also have the option to save it, but be very careful about this. So let's say that I save it. It says that I'm logged in, but I'm not logged into like any individual account. I'm logged in as the school. So obviously it's going to keep it. So if I go under using CQR, under favorited documents, is going to show me the article over here. And probably if I close the tab, open it again, it might still show it. But if I close the browser, it's going, and I come back to it, it's not going to display it. So it's super important to, I mean, use it if you want to, but just make sure that you email it to yourself, or at least save the link to it. So you're not in a situation where you don't have the article. So that's CQ Researcher. Another database I wanted to show you is Issues and Controversies. It's also similar to CQ Researcher. To access it, you would do the same thing. Just go under the heading Quick Links to all databases A to Z. And then you would click I for Issues and Controversies. And then you would just scroll down to Issues and Controversies Hot Topics. And then you're going to be redirected to the database platform InfoBase. Now, you can see it's a very similar layout to CQ Researcher, because it's also a database where you could go to get information on argument topics, on controversial topics, on topics that are sensitive. And you can see right over here, I'm going to have the hottest topic, US-Russian relationships. And then I could scroll down and I could get similar topics to CQ Researcher. Now, the only difference about, well, one of the primary differences about issues and controversies when compared to CQ Researcher is that when you type in, like, let's say that I'm typing in my topic, what it's going to do is that it's going to search the entire database, and it might include just like specific parts of the report. So you can see it's not giving me the full report. But if I go, like, let's say that I go to the pro con article, it's going to pull up a full report just like it does in CQ Researcher. So when you're doing your search, it's just important to make sure that you're getting the pro and con article if you want that full report. And what it does is the same thing. It's going to pose that question, and then we're going to have all of these different sections that we could go to, just like CQ Researcher. An additional feature that they do offer is this top menu over here, which I love so much because you could get primary sources right over here. You could get court cases. You have that media, infographics. And then my favorite tab is right here, news. So this is where you could go to get news on the specific article. And right now it's loading, but usually it would include lots and lots of different types of information that we could use. And once it does pop up, it's taking a little while right now, but once it does pop up, if you think about it, you have the report. And now you have all of these separate news articles that you could pull information from. So that's going to be additional resources that I have access to. So I have the article, and guess what? I could also use this as one of my sources as well. And that's issues and controversies. And okay, the last database I want to show you is EBSCO. And EBSCO is a super important database to learn how to use because it crosses so many subject areas. And when you're searching on OneSearch, you'll probably notice that most of the articles that are being retrieved from OneSearch are actually from EBSCO. Therefore, it would be logical to learn how to use EBSCO. And to use EBSCO, same thing like CQ Researcher, issues and controversies. Right under quick links, you'll go to all databases A to Z. And then you would go to E for EBSCO. And then you can see right over here, if you click it, you'll be redirected to the EBSCO site, which is different than the library's website. And right in the beginning, just like OneSearch, you have that option to do a simple search. I could type in my research topic right over here and do my search. Or I could go to the advanced search option just by clicking the advanced search link right under the search box. And then I have the option to specify exactly the types of materials I want to retrieve. I have the option to add those keywords and to also add my Boolean operators. So let's say that I'm doing social media, and I can put that in quotation marks, and then let them know what types of material I want to get. So whenever you're searching EBSCO, it's super important to make sure that you're choosing full text, to make sure that you're not getting like a summary or a book review. And then my professor wants peer reviewed, so I'm going to go ahead and click peer reviewed. And I can go ahead and do my search. So I did my search for social media, and I'm pulling 155,000 results. And just like OneSearch, I have the option to use the left panel to further reduce the number of results that I retrieve. And once I do that, I would get a better amount of results that I would be able to go over. And that's EBSCO for the most part. I mean, it's very, very similar to OneSearch, which is super good. And you would find that by using OneSearch and EBSCO, you're going to get a good number of results to support your claims and provide evidence to support your narrative for your essay. Okay, and now that's the end of our instruction session. I did want to talk to you about the resources the library offers. So, the Menifee Valley campus, we have a very, very large book collection. It includes children's books, and it includes anime. It has, we have magazines. We have all types of different books, and we're happy to let you have access to all that book collection. We're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. We have a very wide area specifically for computers. You just log in with your portal ID and password. And there's no time limit. We have laptops at the circulation desk. We offer printing, 10 cents for black and white, 40 cents for color. We have our study area. We have couches throughout the library and much, much more. Some of our services. So if you ever like, let's say like you try to access an article and you don't have access to it or are just stuck with your research, if you go back to the library's homepage. Okay, so we're going back to the library's homepage and you scroll down just to the middle section over here, right under the carousel, right under the subheading quick links. Right over here, you have the option to get assistance with your research. So you have the option to chat with a librarian 24/7, even if it's at midnight, you still have the ability to chat with the librarian. And if you don't have time to chat, you could submit your question and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. You have the option to also chat with a peer array. A peer array, they're students just like you that we trained in information literacy, so they'll be able to help you with your researching, and you have the option to chat with them, and you also have the option to meet with them. So if you go to this link right over here, make an appointment, you could see like you'll have a picture of our peer arrays, and then this is a list of our peer arrays. If you just click the eye near their name, you'll get some more information about them and see if you want to work with them, and then just choose the date and the time, and they will send you the Zoom link for meeting with them. And I believe you meet with them for 30 minutes, and they'll be able to assist you with researching. We also have our workshops. So, if you go back to the library's homepage, and you go to online library workshops, go ahead and click that. You'll get to our library workshops page, and this is where you'll have a list of all of our workshops. And to sign up for it, you just click the title of the workshop, and then you'll get the Zoom registration link. I mean, the registration page, and then it will send you the link for the Zoom. And then you also have the option to call us during our business hours right over here, and we'll be able to provide that reference support to you through phone. And then you also have the option to email me. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day or night.